All right, my friends, let us begin. Speaking of singing, let me just make my scream. So we're going to start off with actually a different song than I thought I was going to do. We're not going to do Singing for a Peaceful World because I ran across this one and I just think this is so much fun. And I know that singing muted is not as fun as singing in person in harmony, but we've gotten so good at this over the 2 years. We have gotten really good at it. So please sing loud, sing strong, show me your face so I can see you singing. It gives me hope and courage and energy to see you singing. So this goes, when we make peace instead of war, oh how I want to be in that number. When we make peace instead of war. I know you know the tune. Here we go. When we make peace instead of war, when we make peace instead of war, oh how I want to be in that number. When we make peace instead of war, you got it. When we rise up to change our world, when we rise up to change our world, when we rise up to change our world, oh how I want to be in that number. When we rise up to change our world, when all the world has human rights, when all the world has human rights, when all the world has human rights, oh how I want to be in that number. When all the world has human rights. Now you know this song well enough to know that a fun thing to do is be an echo. So instead of singing with me when I sing the next verse, I sing, let's say, when all the world, and what do? You echo. When all the world has human rights, and then all together. It's really a very nice touch, even though I can't hear you. I would love to know that you were doing that. Here we go. When drones are banished everywhere. When drones are banished everywhere. When drones are banished everywhere. Oh, how I want to be in that number. When drones are banished everywhere. That's right. Oh, when the rich pay all their tax. Oh, when the rich pay all their tax, when all the rich pay all their tax. Oh, how I want to be in that number. When all the rich pay all their tax. When we build schools instead of bombs. Here we go. When we build schools instead of bombs. When we build schools instead of bombs. Oh, how I want to be in that number. When we build schools instead of bombs. When we shut down the war machine. When we shut down the war machine. We shut down the war machine. Oh, how I want to be in that number with Toby and everybody else. When we shut down the war machine. Yeah. Oh, there's so many. We could do so many verses to that. It just goes on and on. It's a great one to do when you're out in the streets, marching and vigiling and demonstrating. It's because you can keep adding verses. I have probably 40 verses to that, depending on whether it's the science march or the women's march or the climate march, or you know what I mean? It's like there's just all these subcategories and they all intersect, of course. So Tina's harmonizing on mute. You go, Tina, you go. So I got a fun song I just learned today. I've heard it many times, but I actually learned it because it ties together my two main themes tonight of labor and peace activism. And it goes back a few decades at least. I honestly don't know how far back it got. I poked around the internet and it is attributed to a lot of different authors. So somebody really clever wrote it or a bunch of somebodies, but it's in your lyrics. You've got the chorus. I don't think the verses are in there. but it is called, great, the title just tells it all, tells everything you need to know. You ain't done nothing if you ain't been called a red. A red is, for any of you who are under 60 or 40 or something, a red is, of course, word for commie. It's not a flattering word for commie. And I was thinking about how it was one of those dog whistle, only it's not a dog whistle because it's right out there, but one of those labels people use that is supposed to discredit you. And of course, this was probably under McCarthy, where it could get you in huge trouble to be a red. And I was thinking about the ways they're doing that today with things like critical race theory. Like, oh my God, just say that word. And it's like, oh no, get out, get rid of the books, get rid of the teachers. It's just I don't know what, we need to think of a new word for dog whistle. It is a bullhorn. It is a big, nasty bullhorn. So here we go. When I was just a little thing, and then when the chorus comes along, you will already know the music. So just sing along. I was just, I have to remember the little thing. It's funny. This is how little I know it. I just have to get the tune back. I think, okay, I'm going to just make it up. Oh, when I was just a little thing, I used to love parades with banners, bands, and red balloons, maybe lemonade. When I came home one May Day, my neighbor's father said, "Them marchers is all commies. Tell me, kid, are you a red?" Well, I didn't know just what he meant. My hair back then was brown. Our house was a plain red brick, like most of them in the town. So I went and asked my mama why our neighbor called me red. My mommy took me on her knee, and this is what she said: "Well, you ain't been doing nothing if you ain't been called a red. If you marched or agitated, you're bound to hear it said. So you might as well ignore it or love the world instead, 'cause you ain't been doing nothing if you ain't been called a red." Got it? You'll get it next time. When I was growing up, I had my troubles, I suppose, when someone took exception to my face or to my clothes, or tried to cheat me on a job, or hit me on the head. And I organized to fight back why those stinkers called me red. But you ain't done nothing if you ain't been called a red. If you marched or agitated, you're bound to hear it said. So you might as well ignore it or love the world instead, 'cause you ain't been doing nothing if you ain't been called a red. It's really funny. I'm making the most interesting mistake. Every time I get to love the word, I say love the world. What do you make of that? It's supposed to be word, but I guess I just want to love the world tonight. So do it any way you want. When I was living on my own, one apartment that I had a lousy, rotten landlord. Let me tell you, he was bad. When he tried to throw me out, I rubbed my hands and said, "You haven't had a struggle if you haven't fought a red, and you ain't done nothing if you ain't been called a red. If you marched or agitated, you're bound to hear it said. So you might as well ignore it or love the word instead, 'cause you ain't been doing nothing if you ain't been called a red." Well, I kept on agitating, 'cause what else can you do? You're gonna let those money grubbers walk all over you. My friend said, "You'll get fired hanging with that commie mob." Well, I should be so lucky, buddy, I ain't got a job. Oh, you ain't done nothing if you ain't been called a red. If you marched or agitated, you're bound to hear it said. So you might as well ignore it or love the word instead, 'cause you ain't doing nothing if you ain't been called a red. Well, I've been agitating now for 50 years or more, for jobs and for equality, and always against war. And I'll keep on agitating as far as I can see. And if that's what being red is, well, it's good enough for me. 'Cause you ain't done nothing if you ain't been called a red. If you marched or agitated, you're bound bound to hear it said. So you might as well ignore it or love the word instead. 'Cause you ain't been doing nothing if you ain't been called a red. No, you ain't been doing nothing if you ain't been called a red. And if you haven't been called one yet, go out and do something outrageous so you can be called a red. Ah, I love that song. That is so fun to sing. Did you love that? Oh, boy. Who's already heard that song? Raise your hand if you know that song, have ever heard it. Yeah. It's been around. Made a name for itself. Okay, well, friends, for those of you that are new tonight, because I know some of you came from Toby's list for Code Pink and Bay Area peace activists, and if any of you are from Toby's peace activism and didn't come here from my invitation, if you want to, it'd be great to just say hi in the chat and put the peace group that you're involved in or the activist group that you're involved in. That you're active in. It would be great to kind of know a little more who's in the room, and especially new folks. Yeah. So please feel free to do that. And we're gonna take a minute, as we always do, to just quiet ourselves now that we've gotten thoroughly roused up and sung two very high energy songs. And just take a minute, because it's the end of the day and we're transitioning into a different energy. It's not work energy. It's not hanging out with friends energy. I mean, we're hanging out with friends, but we're here with a very purposeful gathering. It's always been purposeful since I started this during COVID. At that time, it was largely to just nourish people's spirits, because we were just gobsmacked, as the Australians and British folks say, by COVID and the social isolation and the not knowing how long it was going to last. And it's just been hard. So I'm just trying to get my volume a little better here. So I wanted to offer the best thing I've got to offer, which is song and singing together. And it has sustained so many of us for 2.5 years now. And no end in sight. I keep thinking, well, at some point people will be so back to, in person that this will just die a natural death. But it doesn't seem to be doing that. And I'm so glad, because I really love doing it. But what I want to invite us to do for a moment is to come kind of into our more embodied heart, soul space, whatever that means to you. And if you'd like to close your eyes for a moment and just relax your body a little bit more, sink into the cushions or wherever you are. Take a couple of soft but deep breaths. Let your shoulders relax and your arms and your hands. Feel your feet. If you're touching the floor, just press them in a little bit. Feel that nice solid sense of contact and knowing that we are on Mother Earth. Even if we're in a building with a floor or carpet, we are so connected to our Mother Earth, and each of us is living and being here, if we come from the United States, on land that was loved and tended and sacred to the native peoples of the regions for tens of thousands of years. We are very, very new here, we know that. So I'd like to just take a moment where we can each in our own way give thanks for those who went before us and whose land was stolen, whose lives were stolen, whose ways of life were stolen. And offer ourselves in the spirit of repair, and that our work and this planet, whatever it may be, that it can somehow be a work that helps restore justice, peace, the wholeness of the land. And just for a moment, as a little act of imagination while we sit here, this is kind of one of those little first thought, like don't overthink this. Just the first thing that comes to your mind is, what is your wildest, most creative and exciting, or maybe scary dream of a way you'd like to express activism, express your protest, you're standing for a vision, whatever that might look like. Maybe you'll never do it, maybe you've already done it, but just let a vision form. The thought of, this is how far I want to go for this planet, for the quality of life we know human beings could create if enough of us were liberated from greed, fear, hatred. And if we had even more courage than we already have. I'm going to just ring a bell, a couple of bells, and you can just sit with that for a moment and breathe. Thank you, everyone. And if you want to, you can make it short, but type in the chat what your vision was for yourself. I wrote a song once about my vision, but I won't say it right now because I want to give you a minute to just put, if you want to, put something in the chat, and then we're gonna go to our next song. I'm going to do another song I've never sung before, but I know it very well from its author, Fred Small, a dear old friend of mine. Some of you know Fred Small's music. He's perhaps best known in kind of the big world as the author of a song called Everything Possible, which I think we sang around Gay Pride Month probably. Fred's a wonderful, wonderful songwriter, very gifted at the craft and very clear about justice, how to speak and sing about justice. And he is going to be our guest artist next month, which I'm super excited about. He's just great. So this is a song he wrote, and I thought in honor of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it would be a good night to sing it. And also because we are all about ending war and getting the weapons back underground and then eventually destroyed, turned into plowshares. And right now, things are not looking good in Ukraine with the nuclear plant that's being shelled. It's kind of scary. So I feel good singing this song tonight so we can all express our deep longing for peace. The chorus is in your lyrics, and there's also a very easy ending that I forgot to put in your lyrics that we'll sing together. Cranes over Hiroshima. The baby blinks her eyes as the sun falls from the sky. She feels the stings of 1,000 fires as the city around her dies. Some sleep beneath the rubble, some wake to a different word. From the crying babe will grow a laughing girl. 10 summers fade to autumn, 10 winter's snows have passed. She's a child who dreams and dances. She's a racer, strong and fast. But the headaches come ever more often, and the dizziness always returns. And the word that she hears is leukemia, and it burns. White and red and gold flicker in the sunlight like a million vanished souls. I will fold these cranes of paper to 1,000 one by one. ancestors knew the legend. If you make 1,000 cranes from squares of colored paper, it will take the pain away. With loving hands she holds them, 644, till the day her stumbling fingers can't fold anymore. Cranes over Hiroshima, cranes over Hiroshima, white and red and gold, flicker in the sunlight like a million vanished souls. I will fold these cranes of paper to 1,000 one by one, and I'll fly away when I'm done. Her friends did not forget her. Crane after crane they made, till they reached 1,000, and they laid them on her grave. People from everywhere gathered together, a prayer they said, and they wrote the words in granite so none can forget. And the chorus is, this is our cry, this is our prayer, peace in the world. That's it, that's all, sing with me. This is our cry, this is our prayer, peace in the world. Louder. This is our cry, this is our cry, this is our prayer, this is our prayer, peace in the world. This is our cry, this is our cry, this is our prayer, this is our prayer, peace in the world. This is our cry, this is our prayer, peace in the world, peace, peace in the world. Oh, thank you, Fred. What a song. I really look forward to reading your chat later. And remember, if you want to save the chat, and later there's going to be a lot of links about the piecework at the Air Force bases, but at some point you're going to want to be sure to save that chat by pressing the 3 little dots at the bottom of the chat window. And the first option is Save Chat. So thank you for singing that with me. I know that was just, imagine if we'd been in person, that would have been so gorgeous. So I want to welcome all the peace activists in the room, and we all are in some way or another, whether you've written a letter, signed a petition, gotten arrested, gone to DC. Now I'll tell you my dream. I have 2 dream actions. One is that thousands of women hold hands and circle the Pentagon, and we take our clothes off, because in Africa, many African nations and African tribes, the way women's power is manifested in part is by taking their shirts off in front of the men that they are trying to get to change. And believe it or not, it is actually much more shaming to the men than to the women. It is really one of the worst things the men can experience. It's a public shaming of them, and they have to leave the community and go into hiding. It's just crazy. So I'd like to do that at the Pentagon, and then I would like, and I won't for health reasons of my own, but I would love to do a hunger strike on the steps of the White House or Congress or the Supreme Court, or a rotating one, because they all need it, with a lot of other people, but even alone, just like, just that feeling of I want to go to any length. You know what that is. Yeah, you know how that feels. All right, my friends. So I'm going to ease into Toby by singing one of the songs that I wrote for Creech Air Force Base protest, which Toby and I have been friends for a long time through Code Pink. And one of my favorite members of Toby was going on the train out to Denver, Colorado for the 2008 Democratic Convention, where Obama was hopefully going to be chosen as the candidate. And we had such a great train ride, about 8 or 10 of us Code Pinkers, and we went up in the observation car, and Toby's a musician. She plays the nyckelharpen, which is a wonderful Swedish instrument, really amazing. And we would sing, and it was just the best train ride ever. So Toby and I go back a long way. I loved going to Creech with her and being part of that witness, and you will see pictures not of me, but of the people witnessing down there. It's going to be amazing. But I want to sing with you one of my favorite anti-drone songs. I think it's quite clever, if I say so myself. And it's called Don't Send That Drone, to a very familiar tune. And Hallie Hammer, a local wonderful political songwriter, actually added a bridge to it. I'd forgotten about the bridge, and I actually forgot about this version, so it's not in your lyrics, but you've got the basic chorus, and we'll sing it together. Oh, give me land, lots of land. If you don't, Liz, maybe put it in the chat one more time, put in the PDF so that people can get those lyrics. Okay, here we go. Oh, give me land, lots of freedom and peace. Don't send that drone. We've got homes to rebuild, we've got children to feed. Don't send that drone. You can sit in your video booth with a trigger, set off a bomb with the touch of one finger. Never see the sorrow and the pain that lingers. Don't send that drone. And I hope you're singing Don't Send That Drone so loud they can hear it down at Creech Air Force Base. Don't set them loose where they rattle into battle underneath the desert sky. There's no excuse when they wander, making fodder of the spot they atomize. Oh, I want to ride to a ridge, needing no defenses. Gaze at the moon with no consequences. Don't look for trouble, that's just common sense. No, don't send that drone. Oh, give me land, lots of freedom and peace. Don't send that drone. We've got homes to rebuild, we've got children to feed. Don't send that drone. You can sit in your video booth with a trigger, set off a bomb with the touch of one finger. Never see the sorrow and the pain that lingers. Don't send that drone. What did you say? Don't send that drone. Do you really mean it? Don't send that drone. All right. We got that message out. It is on its way. It is soaring toward Nevada right this minute. Toby, let's spotlight Ms. Blome and hear some stories from Creech, and then we're going to see some pictures and sing some more and see a little video and sing some more. Where's Toby?
Right here.
All right. Oh, I know why I can't see you. I'm on gallery. Silly me. There we are. Hi, you.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Betsy. My friendship to you means so much to me. And I just want to thank you especially tonight for creating this arena for me to share my story with people and share the story of so many others that have been at Creech and other places working against militarism and drones. So I just wanted to start to give a little background. I've been with Code Pink since almost the founding of Code Pink in 2003. In the early spring, I joined, and we're celebrating our 20th anniversary. It's a woman-led, women-founded organization. Been working really hard for peace. And in the early years of Code Pink, I used to take couple weeks, sometimes one time a month, and take off work and go to the East Coast and be in DC to lobby for peace. And I did that for several years, and it was rewarding in a lot of ways, but I also always came back home feeling like it just wasn't enough. I felt like it wasn't the kind of successes that I was hoping to have and the energy that I spent. And so I started really thinking about, well, what to do, because it didn't seem like changing things at the top was going to have an effect. So I thought, how can we work from the bottom up? And I started thinking more and more about going to military bases and working with the people that drive these weapons, you know, that control them, that maybe don't know very much, and maybe, you know, we can work with them on another level. So right about that time when I was starting to really evaluate this, in 2009, the American public started to become aware of the US drone program, which had been very secret for a number of years under the Bush administration and now President Obama. And so there was a group of us in the Bay Area that went down to Creech Air Force Base, the key drone base at that time, still probably is, in Nevada. And we were the second peace action there. We did almost a week of protest at Creech. And ever since then, I've been really deeply committed to this work. And then, and really playing a key organizer, as Betsy said, to protesting at especially Creech drone base in Nevada and another base in California. And then in 2009, I wanted to share that I was fortunate enough to be on a Code Pink Peace delegation to Pakistan. And we actually met in Islamabad, and they brought some of the surviving victims of US drone strikes who've lost family members. And that was a big changer for me. It really set my activist life on fire to hear those stories. And one man in particular, who was very well spoken in English, shared how a drone strike on his compound had killed his 18-year-old son, his youngest brother, who he adored, and also a man who was visiting the village who was hired to build a mosque. And all of them killed in that drone strike, as well as much damage to his home. And he was a tribal leader in the tribal area of Pakistan. And he kept asking us the question, why is the US keep killing our people? Why is the US killing our tribal people? And so his words have always stayed with me, and came back. And then I just really poured my heart and soul into the protests at Creech. And with the help of some key other organizers, we've been maintaining a week-long protest at Creech twice a year in the spring and fall. And we try to bring messages that we think will have an impact and encourage the military to, you know, take responsibility for the role that they're playing and think more deeply and dig into their conscience. And so we get out there in the early morning, the thousands of cars coming from Las Vegas. It's almost an hour drive, and we're out there stretched along the highway with signs and banners. We go again in the afternoon, and then in between we build our peace community. You see this sunset behind me. This is actually taken at the Goddess Temple where we stayed. Beautiful sunsets in the Nevada desert. And we do all kinds of wonderful things, visit the wild horses, which Betsy has experienced. But we come back to the base every day, twice a day. And over the years, we've really matured our messaging, and we really have realized that the drone pilots and operators are victims themselves of US militarism. It's totally inhumane for anybody to sit behind a computer and murder someone on the other side of the earth. And because of it, they have horrible rates of suicide, PTSD, divorce, and many of them have become drone whistleblowers, have gotten out of the military to tell their story. But you can tell, even the ones that have gotten out and are speaking out, that they suffer from really deep moral injury. So we're there for them as well. And one of the banners that I want to make, I used to have in the past that got lost, was a banner I got from somebody else. The idea, you don't support the troops when you support the lies that kill them. And I'm looking forward to having that message out near where the counter protesters sit on the corner with their message, we support the troops. Because to me, that's like a really good supply response to that. And Betsy also offered, I talked with her before we went on our spring action this year, sat in a restaurant with her and just poured her brain or dug into her brain, asked her to give me some ideas of messaging on banners. And one of the ones she came up with that we really liked, and even the young vets, we passed it by them, was just simply, you don't have to do this. Because if you stand outside a military base and you watch the military coming in and leaving, they do not look like happy human beings. And just to encourage them that there's other choices, even though it's not easy to get out. And so there's so much to say. We've had a lot of victories, but one big victory I want to share is that I realized in the last couple of years, the base was expanding and expanding, more and more drones flying. They practice at Creech, so you see the Reapers and the Predators flying over the desert. But in the last couple of years, the amount of planes flying over the Creech Air Force Base has gone down, and the number of cars coming to the base still thousands or many hundreds. That has also gone down. So I finally looked at the Air Force Base website and found out that they're not doing the training of the pilots anymore, the new recruits. They moved them to a totally different base. And I interpret that we have had a profound effect, and the military doesn't want us there. But since we're not going away, since we always come back, they moved them somewhere else. So now I'd like to try to organize a similar thing at Holloman. And anyway, I'm not sure if that's going to happen because it's even farther away from where the Creech Air Force Base is. But I want to encourage anyone who's listening to reach out. There's a website that Betsy's going to post in the chat, shutdowncreech.blogspot.com. And our next fall action is October 15th through the 22nd. I want to encourage any of you to consider coming, even for part of the week. This year we have a generous stipend from Code Pink and Van Killer Drones. So we have money to offer people who can't afford the transportation and help pay for gas or even a flight. We really want a really beautiful presence there. So much to say.
Toby?
Yeah.
So I was going to say, maybe we can show them.
Yeah,
The
that sounds
pictures
great.
say 1,000 words. Maybe we'll have some pictures. I have a little slideshow for you all. That it's Toby's photos, and I think it captures so much. So let's just take a breath and just lean back and enjoy and be inspired by these pictures. So, was there music playing during that, or was it just visual? I'm sorry, I had beautiful music playing. But it's all right because I think we'll just take a minute and sing the music that was playing during it because it's so right for what you're showing us, Toby. For you're calling people to their soul And that word moral injury, I hope everybody knows that word. It's that phrase. It's such an important one that used largely in relation to the military, of the trauma and the moral injury done to people who are brainwashed and otherwise bullied into becoming killers. And you don't get over that. So sing with me just for a moment. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Sing that with me. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. One more. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Oh, it's a very powerful song. Toby also has a video. It's a really wonderful 5-minute or so video. And I think, Toby, we're running a little late, so I think the link is gonna be in the chat, so y'all can watch this on your own. But it's just 5 minutes of watching these amazing people at Creech doing such creative, the banners, the costumes. And I hope you all saw Toby being arrested in her bunny costume. Was that in the slideshow? Oh, good. And, you know, I mean, if nothing else, go for the costumes, you know. But I think what we'll do, Toby, is just have you talk a little bit about Beale Air Force Base and Daniel Hale. And then, yeah.
Sure. And I just wanted to add that the veterans who've been, like veterans, of, especially the Vietnam War, have played a big part in our work at Creech and Beale. And they suffer from moral injury still today after decades. So, but they're courageous enough to face their wounds and still come to the base. Not easy. Yeah, Daniel Hale is kind of a special individual. He was drafted. He was like a backdoor draftee in terms of there wasn't a lot of opportunity in his life. He came from a low socioeconomic background and got swooped into the military Air Force, got pushed into the drum program at a very young age, and witnessed a lot of horrible things. And he became a whistleblower. He leaked some really important documents that actually expose so much of the drum program that's wrongful. And no one knew who he was at first. It was unknown. And then the U.S. government caught up with him. So he is serving 45 months in prison right now. He loves to get letters from people. There's a website that should be in the chat, how to find out about him. So I really encourage people to reach out to him. And half the money that's being raised tonight is going to go into Daniel Hale's release fund, so that when he gets out of prison, there's going to be a good chunk of money waiting for him. Different people are raising money so he can adjust back into the real world without financial stress. So it'll be really nice. Thank you to anybody who's donating tonight so that we can support that, as well as this trial. I have some lawyers that are helping me. They're actually doing it pro bono, but they're really amazing lawyers, and I wanted to raise a little bit of money for them just to show thanks and to give gratitude, and so that they'll be eager to help other activists down the road that might need some help with pro bono work. And so the arrests that happened last November, I've been going up to Beale Airforce Base on a monthly basis for 12 years, except through the pandemic, it kind of didn't happen so frequently. And I always go to this one gate. We usually go to at least two gates during the day or so we're there. And I always try to go to this one gate, which we don't usually do nonviolent action at, but I like to go there because it's a good place to stand and give leaflets. And the military has always challenged me and told me I can't, sometimes they tell me I can't be there, I'm trespassing. And I just, in my gut, I feel like I know I'm not trespassing. So for 12 years, they've left me alone. They threatened arrest, but I never been arrested. And then in November, after we had two incredible actions in the months before, one for Daniel Hale and one for the Ahmadi family that were slaughtered in Afghanistan and Kabul as the US troops were withdrawing, all by drone strike. Five of them were children, young children. Seven of them were children, five of them were young children. And anyway, so we had those beautiful actions, including a direct action that we didn't get arrested at. So they, on November, they arrested me in Air Base. And if anybody's interested, we would love to fill the courthouse.
What date is that, Toby?
October 4th, and you can write to me. I think my email address is going to be included in the chat. If it's not, I can put it in there. We're organizing carpools to Sacramento. It would be lovely to have everybody wear some amount of pink, to just pink out the whole courtroom that day. And we're going to have a rally outside the courtroom the hour before, 8:30, 9:30, and get media to come out for a press conference. And just got a member of the Brass Liberation Orchestra that's pledging to be there with her drum.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. Toby, could you tell the story of the military policewoman that you had a little moment with? Do you remember that? I really thought that was great.
Yeah, there was a deal one month, about a few years back. There was a very young, sweet, young airwoman who I had a conversation with and was talking to her about different issues about the war. And she started getting emotional with me, and she shared that her grandmother had really urged her not to join the military. And she was getting teary-eyed. She regretted that she didn't listen to her grandmother. But not too long after that, if my memory isn't failing me, she did get back to me and say she wasn't re-enlisting. Her contract was coming to a closure. And we've had many military who shared with us that they're not re-enlisting. So that's another way we've had victories over the years at Creech and Beale both.
Yeah. My sense, Toby, from being at Creech with you and then hearing your stories, is that your presence, all of your presence at the gates of Creech with these signs saying you don't have to do this, or these are war crimes. But the warmth, Toby has a lot of warmth, and I've seen her leafleting people, and there's just no confrontational whatever, or that energy of kind of you're bad. It's really just a very heartfelt outreach. And I hear from you that there have been soldiers down at the Air Force Base who have found their way out of there and gone to Veterans for Peace or other veteran organizations that help them transition. So this is really, really beautiful work.
Yeah, I also wanted to share really quick that sometimes when the military are leaving, and there's different cases each time because there's always a turnover, but there has been numerous times where a young airman is coming out and he looks so internally in conflict, and you can trust that being in the military and not liking being in the military is not a fun place to be, because it's not a safe place to speak out against feelings about militarism. And they give me this look like they're so grateful that we're just there, that like there's someone out there that knows their story, and they take the leaflets from us so with such openness and gratefulness. And I just wanted to share that because that's another side that we can do.
Great. People are asking how they can find out more about joining you in Sacramento. We will put out an email to all of you. I'll get that information and we'll put out a special email. It would be absolutely fabulous to have a lot of us there. I don't know if I can go on the 4th. I'll take a look, but I'll bring my guitar if I do. So, Toby, I wonder if this would be a good time to transition into a song, or do you feel complete? Is there anything more you wanted to say?
I feel very complete. I'm right now writing in my email so people can contact me directly about
Great. Perfect.
file.
Great. Fantastic. Well, it's just, I'm so thrilled that you're here. I wish we could just go on, but I want to just mention again the donation, because I know some people have to leave at 7. Liz is going to put the donation information in the chat as we speak. And it's really easy to do through PayPal. You can do it right now. Just click on the link. There's also snail mail if you like. But if ever there was a night to give, this would be a great night to give. Not only will it help Toby honor and thank these amazing lawyers who do pro bono. I don't know how they do it, but they're doing it. And also Daniel Hale, who you can imagine, talk about moral injury and psychic injury, to be put in jail for telling a terrible truth that had to be told. So anything we can do to support him. And there is a movie, a link to a movie that's going to go in the chat too, called National Bird. And it's free online, and it's about whistleblowing and drone warfare, and Daniel Hale. It's an amazing, amazing movie. So, Toby, thank you. And I want to sing one of the songs you asked me to sing. This is one we've been singing for a long time. I think I wrote it during the first bombing of Kuwait, which led to the first war in Iraq by the first Bush. I sing for the mothers. A lot of you know it. It's very easy to sing, because this violence, you know, anyone that gets killed by a drone, a bomb, a gun, had a mother. And if that mother is living, this is the worst terrible thing that could happen in her life. So it's time to sing for the mothers who are injured all over the earth. I sing for the mothers all over the earth, for their power, for their love. I ache for the mothers all over the earth, for their sorrow, for their love. May their broken hearts be cradled, may their righteous anger be heard. I pray that justice and healing for all of the mothers all over the earth. You have this in your lyrics, so just sing along as best you can. I sing for the mothers of soldiers at war. I sing for the mothers of soldiers at war, for their power, for their love. I ache for the mothers all over the earth, for their sorrow, for their love. May their broken hearts be cradled, may their righteous anger be heard. I pray for justice and healing for all of the mothers all over the earth. I sing for the mothers who live in Ukraine. I sing for the mothers who live in Ukraine, for their power, for their love. I ache for the mothers who live in Ukraine, for their sorrow, for their love. May their broken hearts be cradled, may their righteous anger be heard. I pray for justice and healing for all of the mothers all over the earth. I sing for the mothers in famine and drought, because we're learning that the amount of military pollution that goes on is unbelievable. So the climate impact of bombs and planes and nuclear and everything is causing famines and droughts. I sing for the mothers in famine and drought, for their sorrow, for their love. I ache for the mothers in famine and drought, for their power, for their love. May their broken hearts be cradled, may their righteous anger be heard. I pray for justice and healing for all of the mothers all over the earth. And last, I sing for the mothers whose voices will rise. They're rising already. I sing for the mothers whose voices will rise, for their power, for their love. I ache for the mothers whose voices will rise, for their sorrow, for their love. May their broken hearts be cradled, may their righteous anger be heard. I pray for justice and healing for all of the mothers all over the earth, all over the earth, all over the earth. Keep singing that. All over the earth, all over the earth, all over the earth, all over the earth, all over for the mothers. That song is recorded on a wonderful CD that's out of print, but you can get it, you can find it on YouTube. It's on an album called Welcome to the Circle. And what's special about this album is that there are people in this room that sang on that album. It was collectively made by some women from my women's song circles many years ago. So there's all these beautiful harmonies. So you'll get to hear it with the harmonies and different women's voices soloing on different verses. It's just a lovely, lovely arrangement. So check it out on YouTube. Also on YouTube are most of the previous nights that we've spent together here. And any of you who are especially newer to the evenings, you go back and just scroll through my YouTube channel and click on the playlist called No Better Time to Sing and see what we've been up to over the years. It's fun. It's fun. All right, well, I promised to sing something about the workers, and by golly, I'm going to do it. I am so excited about the young generation of union organizers. The poor labor movement was just on life support. Thanks to everything, Ronald Reagan on, really. You know, the government of this country has been destroying labor in every way it can. And now these young people at Starbucks and Amazon and Chipotle and Barbara's Organic Foods and Google are like taking it back. They are taking it back. I couldn't be more thrilled. So we're going to sing a song that was written by Acapella, the political singing group that I'm involved in, Acapella, and to this not ancient, but that traditional, powerful union song that comes out of the coal mining efforts in Appalachia. And I believe it was written by a coal mining wife. I can't think of her name right this minute. It'll come to me, but it's Which Side Are You On? Acapella rewrote it for minimum wage, and they had the title was $15 an hour, but that was a few years ago, and that's not enough now. So I changed it to $19 an hour, and we're going to sing it together. And you've got it in your lyrics. If you don't know the tune, you will very shortly. So sit up straight. This is an organizing song. This is a protesting song, and a risk-taking song. Come all of you good people, good news to you we give. We're gonna raise up wages so that working folks can live. $19 an hour, $19 an hour. Sing it with me. $19 an hour, $19 an hour. While CEOs make millions, the minimum is flat. Now most Americans agree it's time to change all that. $19, $19 an hour. Clap your hands. $19 an hour, $19 an hour, $19 an hour. Thump your chest. That's a good one to get yourself going. Slap your thighs. Make this a marching song. Now listen, City Council, 'cause we elected you. It's time to tackle poverty. There's one thing you can do. What is it? $19 an hour, $19 an hour, $19 an hour, $19 an hour. And the last one was just written, I just wrote it today because Governor Newsom did sign the bill that's going to put fast food workers and business people together in the same room to work out, organizing and minimum wage and workers' needs. And cross fingers and hold our hearts. This might change things. And what they're going for is $22 an hour. Yeah. So last verse. Good news from California, there's gonna be some change. With fast food workers in the room, we'll win a living wage. And what is it? $22 an hour, $22 an hour, $22 an hour, $22 an hour. Oh God, we need some hope, folks, don't we? We need some victories, and these young union folks and workers they're doing it. They're giving it to us. Thank you, all of you. And I cannot resist. I've got to do this, even though it's going to make us go 3 minutes over time. I've got to sing my new song. And it's not that new because I sang it last month, but I've got to sing it again because it's about Amazon, and they are probably my favorite organization to cordially hate or uncordially hate, as much as a Buddhist is allowed to hate anything. I have great difficulties with the choices that Jeff Bezos has made, and I pray for his illumination. So this is called Amazon Trucks, and it's got this little phrase, Amazon Trucks, that just comes around a lot. So every time you hear Amazon Trucks, sing with me. Oh yeah. Every time I hit the highway, I see Amazon trucks bringing more stuff to you and me, those Amazon trucks. The workers in the warehouse, the drivers on the road, working day and night, just trying to stay afloat. Peeing in a bottle, sleeping in a cab, driving Amazon trucks. I never see the Greyhound buses anymore, I see Amazon trucks. I hope you're singing. If you pay for Prime, they're gonna rush it to your door, those Amazon trucks. They make it so easy, make it so fast. Ever since COVID, it's been a shopping blast. Burning up the plastic, burning up gas. I did that wrong, sorry. Bringing us plastic, burning up gas, those Amazon trucks. Again, those Amazon trucks. Now look what's double parked outside my door. It's an Amazon truck. Fancy that. I wave at the driver. We both know the score about Amazon trucks. Sing it again. Amazon trucks. They call you essential, tell you to trust them, but try to form a union. They're all about busting. Guess who's getting richer? Guess who's staying poor? Driving Amazon trucks. That's right. Sing it again. Driving Amazon trucks. I've been taking my business to the local mom and pop. No more Amazon trucks. Amazon trucks. If I buy online, I pick another shop. Don't want Amazon trucks. Amazon trucks. trucks. When it comes to the shipping, it's all the same. They got a corner on the market, got the system gamed. No matter where you order, it always seems to come in an Amazon truck. Oh, darn it. In an Amazon truck. Once more. In an Amazon truck. Yep, you know just what I'm talking about. Oh, hi there. Yeah, just put it on the porch. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Ugh. Thank you, my friends. Oh, yes, that is also available as a single in pretty sure it's on YouTube. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Just look up Amazon Trucks. Play it for all your friends and neighbors and family who, like all of us, have been ordering online in the last 2 years, 2.5 years. All right, dears, it is time to say goodnight. I am so glad you all got to come tonight, because what a special night. Toby, we love you and we thank you and bless you. Blessings on Creech occupation protest coming up in October. Maybe some of you will go. That would be so awesome if you could do that and come back and tell us about it. So we'll get you the information about how to meet up with Toby in Sacramento. And Liz has put all these wonderful links. I want everybody to stop right now and save the chat, because these are links to a webinar, not a webinar, but something where you can learn more about Creech. You can watch their video about them being there. You can watch National Bird. So do not miss all this great stuff. Because we all want to act right now. Everything is just so difficult around us. And action is so healing. It is so energizing. And action with like-minded people and making new friends. It's just the whole thing is just a win-win all the way around. So with that, we're going to close tonight. Remember, next month, October 13, Fred Small. Do not miss it. Spread the word. We're going to close with a song by Linda Hirshhorn, and a lot of you know it. And I thought, because of Daniel being in prison and Toby going to court, that even though the song isn't directly about that, it's just a wonderful song to close any event, any political event, any gathering of human beings gathered for peace and justice and freedom. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release for the planet. Circle for the planet, each soul. Circle for each soul, for the children, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, the planet. Circle for the planet, each soul. Circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Thank you, everyone, so very much for all you do, for all you are, for keeping the peace, keeping the spirit alive. We're going to unmute you. Ask all to unmute. So we can unmute so we can all say hello, goodbye, and cheer each other on and thank each other. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toby. Yeah, thank Toby. Thank Toby.
Thank you, Toby.